Hi, good day, and welcome to my fifth video on the crash course series for the 2021 CXC maths exam. So let's get straight into it. Question 5, the first question we're going to be getting into today is a volume question. Now, when it comes to volumes, this shape here is what we call a uniform shape, right? So I'm going to spell it uniform. A uniform shape is a shape basically anywhere you cut the shape, it has the same cross section, meaning that it will look exactly the same. All right, so whenever you're trying to find the volume of a uniform shape, I have a general formula that I usually use. The volume of a uniform shape is the face area multiplied by the length. All right, so in this case here, right, if you look at the face, let me just shade the face here, you will notice that the shape over here is a right angle triangle. So to find the volume, we look at the face. I'm looking at this face here, and all we need to do is find the area of that triangle. So how do you find the area of a triangle? Well, the area of a triangle is the base multiplied by the vertical height divided by 2. And after we find the face area, then we multiply it by what? The length. In this case here, the length will be 10. So let's go ahead and, well, complete the calculation. The base of the triangle is 1.5. So it's 1.5 multiplied by the vertical height. Now the vertical height is the 2, not the 2.5. The 2.5 is actually the hypotenuse. Okay? So the vertical height will be 2, and then we divide it by 2. That will give us the face area, and then we multiply it by the length, which is 10. So let's go to our calculator, and it's 1.5 multiplied by 2. I'm going to press equal, divided by 2, and then multiply it by 10. So, and we will get 15. It's that simple. It's 15, and well, it's meters cubed. All right, so that's the general formula to find the volume of a uniform shape, right? I'm just saying, in case the the question comes a little different in the exam, let's just say it was a circle, like a kind of cylinder here, right? Let's say the over here was 10, and over here was a circle. What you will need to do to find the volume of this shape is to look at the face and find the area of the face, which is a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. And when you find the area of the face, just multiply by the length, which in this case here is 10. And that would give you the volume of the cylinder. So in summary, the volume of a uniform shape involves what? Finding the face area first, which means you need to understand areas in the first place. So if you are not familiar with finding the areas of various shapes like circles, rectangles, squares, triangles, semicircles, there is a video available for you. Let's just go to see which video. I made a video specifically geared towards finding areas. Oh, look at here. All you need to do is go on YouTube, type in iLoveLessons, and then the word areas, plural, and 2 videos will come up. One for the areas of squares and rectangles, and the other one for areas of circles and sectors. Please ensure that you watch those videos before continuing with this video, because you're going to bounce up a lot of areas, especially the ones with circles and sectors. And once again, these videos are preparing you for the exact type of questions that are going to come in your CXC exam. So moving ahead now, let's see. So this was the volume of this shape. Let's see what part B holds for us. Part 2, sorry. They want us to find the surface area of the shape below. All right, so I prepared something special to explain this question. What we want to do is look at all of the faces of the shape and find the area of each part and then add them up. Now, before I continue with this question, you will notice the hypotenuse of this triangle is missing. Now, I know the hypotenuse is going to play a very important part in the rest of the question. So let's just find the hypotenuse using Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse is equal to the square root of side 1 squared plus side 2 squared. This here is side 1 and this here is side 2. So let's quickly just find the hypotenuse of this triangle. Side 1 is 7 squared plus the other side is 2.5 squared. So let's work this out. You'll notice I'm going to work out the piece underneath the square root first. So I'm going to say 7 squared plus 2.5 squared and press equal. That will give me what? 55.25, and then I need to square root last to complete the calculation to find the hypotenuse. So let me square root that. Square root 55.25, and we will get 7.4. I'm just going to put it to one decimal. Well, let's go to two decimal places. 7.43. So the length from here all the way to here is 7.43. Like I said, that hypotenuse is going to be very important in the rest of the question. So what I did, I redrew this diagram. Let's go to this right. So what I did, I'm going to have to take apart this shape here and divide it into and show you the 5 different pieces that make up the shape. There's the piece in front here, there's a triangle here, a triangle over there, the base is this is a rectangle, the one that's highlighted here. It's a rectangle. It doesn't look like a rectangle because of the angle you're looking at it from. And this is also a rectangle, and this blue shape is also a rectangle. So it's basically 1, 2, 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So let's get the dimensions of each shape here. So I hope this program works good. I know here's 2.5, right? Over here is 7. For the other triangle is the same thing. 2.5, over here is 7. For the rectangle, remember this one came from the front. It's like a windshield of a car. Remember, we know here is 12, but over here was the hypotenuse, 7.43. For this piece here, here was 7 and here was 12. Remember, if over here is 12, then over here on the opposite side is also 12. For the piece that was on the ground, here was 12 and here was what? 2.5. So let's just find the area of each shape. The area of a rectangle is just length by breadth. Let's put 12 multiplied by 7.43. Over here is going to be what? Length by breadth also, 7 by 12. The area of a triangle is what? base by height divided by 2, base by height divided by 2. This triangle is just like the other triangle, so he is base by height divided by 2, and the gray one is a rectangle also. Length by breadth. So 12 by 2.5. So all we need to do now is just find all the areas separately and add them up. And that would be what? The surface area of the shape. All right, so let me see if I get my calculator here. All right, so for the pink triangle, we said we will take 12 and multiply it by 7.43, and that gives me, oh, that's all, guys. I think I need to have my calculator. Well, here what? I think you all could do this part on the calculator on your own, right? So I have my actually physical calculator in my hand here. Let me do it quickly. 12 multiplied by 7.43, and over here we are getting 89.16. So make sure you see it on your calculator. For the kind of blue rectangle, length by breadth, 7 by 12, I'm getting 84. For this triangle, the yellow one, base by height divided by 2, I'm getting 8.75. And of course, this triangle, you will also get the same answer. And for the gray rectangle, length by breadth, 12 by 2.5, I am getting 30. So all we need to do now, guys, is just add up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that will be our final answer. So let me cook it. Well, you could probably do it with me. 89.16 plus 84 plus 8.75 plus the next 8.75 plus 30. And my final answer for this one, I'll write it here, is 220.66 centimeters squared. And that's it. That's the surface area of this shape. Okay? So let's move on. Well, let's put back the answer here. 220.66 centimeters squared. Now, I've seen questions like this come in paper 3 and in paper 2. So this is a good question to cover two papers, paper 2 and paper 3. All right. Okay, part B. Part B seems to be a trigonometry question. This is going to fall under sine, tan, or cosine. This is going to be super easy. This one here, also, if you are not familiar with sine, tan, and cosine, right? Sorry for the bad handwriting there. I went and found a video for you to help you out. Now, at the moment, I don't have a sine, tan, cosine video. I didn't make any. I don't have one available for the public right now, sorry. But I went and found a really good one online. Let me just, it's this one here. To find it, because there are so many trigonometry videos explaining sine, tan, and cosine, you really want to find one that takes its time and does more than one examples. And this video here, all you need to do is type in trigonometry basics by it's Jayyates. Okay, so guys, type in that. Let me type it in here, and it should be the very first video that comes up, right? It's about 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Believe me, guys, that video is worth it, and it will explain sine, tan, and cosine from the basics with you. He even shows you which button to press on the calculator and whatnot. It's really good. Okay, so this question here, they gave you the angle 60 degrees. X is the hypotenuse. I know X is the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. and 4 is your adjacent side. So A for adjacent, H for hypotenuse. This side here is the opposite. The opposite has nothing to do with this question because they want you to find the hypotenuse and they gave you the adjacent. This is a cosine question. Cosine theta is adjacent divided by hypotenuse, right? Like I said, if you don't understand this formula, watch the video I just suggested first and then come back. It will be a breeze, I guarantee it. Cos theta, the angle in today's question is 60 degrees. The adjacent side is 4 and your hypotenuse is x. All we need to do here is cross multiply. Now we have two options. We can cross multiply one time, or we can find cos 60 first, round it off to about 2 decimal places, and then cross multiply. It's really up to you, but I'm going to cross multiply straight without finding cos 60 first. So cos 60 by x is just x multiplied by cos 60. You can't do much there. And 4 by 1 is 4. So now it's time to solve for x. The cos 60 is a multiply. Throw it across, you will get a divide. So let's work out that on the calculator, right? Let's see. 4 divided by cos 60. Hey, we got a really nice answer. The answer is 8. So this length here is 8 centimeters. Super easy, right? Oh, part C. Part C, well, I'm sure you're reading it right now. Part C is it falls under the topic of similar triangles. I once again don't have a video online explaining similar triangles, so I went and found one for you again. This one was really good. All right, once again there are plenty similar triangles video. This is the one I want you to look for. Type in this exact phrase here. Finding missing sides of similar triangles, and then put Mr. Helpful. No spaces with the Mr. Helpful. And the first one will be this one. You can't miss it. It's really colorful. It has yellow or kind of blue. This video, I have to really praise it. It was a really, really good video. And it explains everything from scratch. Okay? So, good luck in finding it, and then come back to this question. So we have a question here. What they're asking us to do is find the height of this ladder. So we're trying to find H. Now, if you look at it, there are two triangles, a smaller triangle and then the bigger triangle. So let me draw it back over here. You have the smaller triangle. Let me put some letters on it so it will be easier. I'll call here A, I'll call here B, C, D, and E. The smaller triangle, right, is A, B, C. We know the distance from B to C is 48. It's from here to here. For the bigger triangle, it's really hard to draw straight lines with the program I'm using. So sorry about the horrible drawings. Starts at A, goes down to D, and then you have E. The distance from E to D is 141, the whole distance, and we do not know DE. So here's what. We're going to try to find, I think it's a good idea to find DE first. Now, right now, we don't know the distance from A to B. But if we read the question, we can figure it out. They said the strut, that's this, is 1/3 the way up the ladder. So the whole distance is 141. So if I take 141 and divide it by 3, let's see what we get on our calculator. I'm finding 1/3 of 141. 141 divided by 3 is 47. So that means BD is 47 from B to D only, because they said the strut was only 1/3. So how much is from A to B? If the whole thing is 141 and from here to here is 47, then the remaining piece is 141 minus 47. So let's type that in on the calculator. 141 minus 47, and we are getting 94. So from A to B is 94. So I can put it in here. From A to B is what? 94. Let's find the corresponding sides. It's like this small triangle grew up to be this big triangle. So that there's something called corresponding sides, which will be explained in the suggested video. This side and this side correspond, and this side and this side correspond. What you need to do is take, well, I'll call this the old triangle. So take the value from the old triangle and divide it by the new the value of the new triangle of the corresponding side. So you can build an equation, right? So 94 divided by its corresponding side is equal to 48 divided by its corresponding side, which we don't know. But now we can just cross multiply and find DE. So let's cross multiply. I'll do this one first. 94 by DE is just 94 DE. And now we have to say 48 by 141. 48 multiplied by 141. We'll get 6768. And of course, we want to solve for DE. So the 94 is a multiply. Throw him across, you will get a divide. So DE is 6768 divided by 94. Hey, we got a good answer. 72. So that means this distance here is 72. Now don't forget the aim of the question. The aim of the question, right, is to find the height. The height of the triangle, if we transfer it, is from here all the way down to here. This is going to be an isosceles triangle. We're going to divide the isosceles in exactly half. And then we're going to look at this half. We are going to look at A, D, and you see where when we drop the line straight down, we'll call here M. All right? So I'm running out of space here, right? Let's see if I could, oh, I got some space here. We're going to have to end up using Pythagoras theorem. Right. Now, when you drop this line straight down, AM, we will get a 90 degrees here. Here's H, the height of the triangle. We know here's 141, but how much is from D to M? Remember, from D to E is 72. When you drop the height here, because it's an isosceles triangle, it will cut the 72 in exactly half. 72 divided by 2 is 36. So now we have a right angle triangle here. Let's find the height, right? The height is a regular side. So to find the height of the triangle, now don't mix up this H with hypotenuse. 141 is the hypotenuse. Whenever you want to find a regular boring side, by the way, well, a regular boring side of the right angle triangle are talking about who is not the hypotenuse, is actually called a leg. So there's two legs. AM and DM, both of them are legs. AD, the one opposite the right angle, is the hypotenuse. Anytime you want to find one of the legs, right, you have to use this formula here. To find a leg, you have to take the hypotenuse, square it, and minus the other leg squared. But it has a minus sign. You just have to square root last. So to find h, which is the leg we want to find, is 141 squared minus the other leg, which is 36 squared, and we square root last. So let's work this out and we should be finished. 141 squared minus 36 squared is this big number, 18,585. We have to square root that now. Square root the answer we just get. Oh, and we got a final answer of 136.33 centimeters. All right, so I know a lot of you all might actually have to rewind this video to catch everything, but you need to understand similar triangles and obviously have a very good understanding of Pythagoras theorem, right? There are tons of videos you can find online with Pythagoras theorem. All right, guys, so moving on, right? So, and here's my usual ad where I tell you that I offer lessons, and if you're from Trinidad and Tobago and you want to join my lessons, you can just find my number in the description and, give me a call, right? And of course, these videos, but hopefully by now, it should have no ads in them. I'm sure you noticed that no ads are popping up. If you all want to help me, to help my business grow, if you're not planning on joining my lessons, you can still contact me on WhatsApp. I could send you my lessons flyer, and if you wish, obviously you can share it on various social media. It would really, really, really help me tremendously, and of course I'll be really grateful, right? So let's move on to the next question. All right, the next question is a functions question. Now, I did a really detailed set of videos on functions, like a really, really detailed video. So let's figure out where to find this video. Now, you have to be careful when you're searching for this video. You want to type in iLoveLessons and the word function, singular, not functions. If you just type in function, you will see my two videos up here. There's one over here, the inverse of a function, and then one down here. CXC function questions calculations. You need to watch both. You need to watch the one underneath first, then the one on top. Okay, you have to watch it in that order. All right? Otherwise, you won't. You understand why. You just need to watch the one underneath first. All right. So moving on to this question. This question, they want you to find the inverse of this function here, right? So 1 second, guys. I think my pen is giving a lot of problems here. All right, 1 second. All right, so it's working now. All right, so to find the inverse of a function, we need to take fx. Let me write back the function here. Fx is equal to 2x plus 3 divided by x minus 4. When you want to find the inverse of a function, by the way, minus 1 here means inverse. That's how I know we want to find the inverse of a function. What you need to do is throw away the fx and replace the fx with y. Then you switch x and y. What do I mean by switching x and y? It means anywhere you see a y, it magically changes to x. And anywhere you see x's, they magically change to y's. So I'm just going to go across here and do what I just said. Look, we have an x here. Here we have a y. He's going to change to an x, right? Here you have 2x plus 3 and x minus 4. Both x's are going to change to y's. 2y plus 3 divided by y minus 4. What we need to do here is make back y the subject. You notice over here, y is the subject because y is on one side and everybody else is on the other side. However, when you do the switch, x becomes the subject. We need to make back y the subject. And the best way to do this is through cross multiplication. So I'm going to cross multiply here. It doesn't matter which diagonal first. I'm going to multiply every one here by x. Let me just change the color so the working looks different. All right. So I'm going to multiply every one here by x. I'm going to do the working here. So you have y minus 4. And we just said we're multiplying everything by x. So I put it in brackets to symbolize the whole thing is getting multiplied by x. And then 2y plus 3 multiplied by 1. Well, anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So let's multiply out the brackets. You get xy minus 4x is equal to 2y plus 3. Don't forget, we're trying to make y the subject. So anything that has a y, we throw it on this side. If you have no y, we throw it on the other side. So this xy has a y, so he remains where he is. So we end up with xy, throw across positive 2y, we get minus 2y. We have positive 3, throw across minus 4x, we get positive 4x. Now we can't actually minus 2y from xy because he has an x, he doesn't have an x. And they have different combinations of letters. So the only thing we can do is factorize out the y. So if we factorize out the y, we get x minus 2 is equal to 3 plus 4x. Now, in between the y and the brackets, there's a secret multiply. Throw across the multiply, right? And you will just get a divide. So this whole thing gets divided by x minus 2. You notice we made y the subject. Once you make y the subject, throw away the y now and put f inverse x is equal to 3 plus 4x divided by x minus 2. And that's the end of that question. Right? Sorry for the bad minus sign there. All right. The next part of the question asks us to find f inverse 5. All they want us to do is go to f inverse, which we just found, and replace all the x's with what? 5. What an easy question. So f inverse 5 is equal to 3 plus 4. Throw away the x and in brackets put 5. And then this x here, well, he's 5 minus 2. Let's work this out. We can work this out in our head. 4 by 5 is 20 plus 3 is 23. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So if we work this out, 23 divided by 3 is 7.66666 or 7 and what? 2/3. Right? If you want to put 7.67 and round it off, it's really up to you. Alright guys, so that's a functions question. The only reason I rushed through it so fast is because I have I just suggested 2 videos that explain this in detail with tons of examples. Okay? Alright, so to find the area of the shaded region. Okay. This question, right, you need to understand the different area, how to find the areas of different shapes. And at the beginning of this video, I had suggested that you watch 2 videos that I made with the areas of shapes and sectors. So I'm going on the assumption that you watched those videos properly and you made your notes and you understood it. So what we want to do, you will notice that there's a triangle. We are going to try to find the area of the triangle, and then we are going to try to find the area of the sector, and then minus two of them. And when we minus the two areas, we will get the area of the shaded region. So let's start off with, well, this here is definitely an equilateral triangle because all the sides have the same length. And what do we know about an equilateral triangle? All the angles are what? 60 degrees. So we know here is 60, here is 60, and here is 60. So let's just get that out of the way. How do you find the area of a triangle? There are plenty formulas. A lot of people think that it's just base by height divided by 2. That's just one of the formulas. Let me introduce you to our next formula. To find the area of a triangle, right? Where can I write? Let me go to my scrapbooking. To find the area of a triangle, you can actually use this formula. It comes on the formula sheet. Half multiplied by A by B by sine C. Now, when students see this formula, they don't, a lot of them get confused. They don't know what the A is, what the B is, and what the C is. I use this formula when I don't, well, like, you know, when you find the area of a triangle, it's base by height divided by 2. But suppose you don't know the base. Suppose you don't know the height. Well, then that formula is useless. So you go to this formula. A and B just basically stands for side 1, side 2, and C, that's the angle. That's the angle in between side 1 and side 2. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say you have this triangle here. And here is 12 centimeters. Here is 8 centimeters. And the angle here is 30 degrees. And I just happen to tell you this angle here is 70 degrees. And I want you to find the area of this triangle. Now, this is not a right angle triangle. I have no idea what is the base, what is the vertical height. So I can't use the primary school formula, base by height divided by 2. But let's use the formula. To find the area, you have to take a half, multiply by side 1 and side 2. So side 1 and side 2 is just 8 and 12. And now you multiply by sine of the angle in between. But I gave you two angles. So which one will I choose? The 30 or the 70? You have to choose the angle in between the two given sides. That angle today is 30. The 70, I put it there to trick you. So all you have to do is type in this on your calculator, and you will get what? The area of the triangle. So let's type it in. A half, well, a half is the same thing as 0.5. So I just put 0.5, multiply by 8, multiply by 12, multiply by sine 30. And we get 24. So all right, the area of this triangle is 24. I don't know why this pen is giving so much trouble. All right. Right, centimeters squared. Okay, guys? So let's move back over here, right? So to find the area of the triangle. Now we have 3 sides and 3 angles. So to find the area of the triangle, let's just choose, let me just change the color. I'm going to use green, right? These are the 2 sides I'm going to use. This is a terrible color. I'm going to choose this 6 and this 6, and this will be my angle in between. All right? So to find the area of this triangle is a half AB sine C. A half. The 2 sides I'm choosing is 6, so it's 6 multiplied by 6. And the angle in between those 2 sides is 60. So let's type that on our calculator. 0.5 by 6 by 6 multiply by sine 60. That gave me a total area of 15.59, so centimeters squared. Let's find the area of the sector now. To find the area of the sector from the videos I suggested, it's pi multiplied by radius squared multiplied by the angle divided by 360. Pi is just a button on the calculator. How much is the radius? The radius is from here to here, from E to Q. Now if you read it, they said P and Q are the midpoint. So if from E to C is 6 and Q is the midpoint, well, half of 6 is 3. So that means the radius of the sector is 3. So it's pi by 3 squared multiplied by the angle inside the sector, which is 60. And then you divide it by 360. Let's just type that in on the calculator. Pi, where's my pi button? If you have pi multiplied by 3 squared multiplied by 60 divided by 360. And I get, well, 4.71. So to find the area of the shaded region, we just minus what? Both areas. So let's type it in here. 15.59 minus 4.71, and our final answer is 10.88 centimeters squared. All right, not bad. Let's move on. Consider the sector below. Find the area of the shaded region. All right, so this one is going to be similar to the one above. What we're going to do is find the area of the entire sector and then find the area of the triangle and minus both answers. So just to summarize, we're going to find the area of the sector and then minus the area of the triangle, right? So that's the upside down triangle. To find the area of the sector, we just had the formula there. It was pi r squared multiplied by theta divided by 360. Pi is just a button on the calculator. The radius is 10.4 squared. The angle is clearly 120 and we divide it by 360. Let's work that out. Pi multiplied by 10.4 squared multiplied by 120 divided by 360. And I am getting, let's see, 113.26, yep, centimeters squared, obviously. To find the area of the triangle, we're going to use the half AB sine C. The two sides are what? 10.4 multiplied by next 10.4 multiplied by, that's not, I need more space here. Sorry about this, guys. All right, let me get a different color here so in case the writing comes close together. All right, so it's a half. The two sides are 10.4 and 10.4. That's A and B. So 10.4 multiplied by next 10.4 multiplied by sine, and the angle C is 120. Sorry about the squish there. Let's work out the area of the triangle. A half is the same thing as 0.5 multiplied by 10.4 multiplied by 10.4 multiplied by sine 120. And we are getting 46.83. So now we just minus both areas, the whole sector minus the triangle. 113.26 minus 46.83 3, and I am getting 66.43 centimeters squared. That's the final answer, right? All right, so let's move on. The length of the arc ABC. All right, so to find the length of the arc ABC, you need to know this formula. When you have a sector and you want to find the length of the arc, that's the curved part. The length is 2 pi r multiplied by the angle divided by 360. As simple as that. It's a formula you have to learn off. That's the length of the arc. The symbol for the length of the arc is actually not L, it's actually common S. So, the angle is what? 120. The radius is 10.4. So let's move back here. 2 by pi. The radius is 10.4. The angle is 120 divided by 360. Let's work that out. Okay? 2 by pi multiplied by 10.4 multiplied by 120 divided by 360. And I'm getting the length of the arc to be 21.78. So let me put it in on the diagram here. The length ABC is 21.78. Okay? Next part of the question. State the formula to find the circumference of a circle. Circumference of a circle, that's supposed to be a C, a terrible C, is 2 pi r, where r is your radius. Okay? The circumference of a circle is also pi multiplied by diameter, but the diameter is twice the radius. So you could throw away the diameter and put 2r, which is this formula, 2 pi r. I just put the 2 in front. Okay? But I'm going to be using this formula. Nothing much to explain there. State the formula to find the area of a cone. Well, you all know what a cone is. A cone is like a birthday hat. I've drawn it upside down here for a reason. So that's an upside down birthday hat. To find the area, oh sorry, this is supposed to be volume. I made a mistake. It was volume of a cone. I put area, my mistake. The volume of a cone is 1/3 multiplied by pi r squared multiplied by the height. When you talk about the radius of a cone, the circular part has a radius. And of course, a cone must have a height. Okay? So that's how you find the area of a cone. So this question is going to build up to something. The same sector here, the one that we had up here, where the curved part was 21.78. So let me put it in here. The curved part is 21.78. I'm not too sure if you know this, right? But if you take a sector, that's the shape in front of you, and you fold it, you will actually get a birthday hat, you know, a cone. Right? Now, if O to C will be the slanted part, here will be 10.4. So that's not the height of the cone, that's the slanted piece of the cone. The height of the cone would be this dashed line here, which we don't have as yet. Also, we don't know the radius of the cone as yet, right? But think about it like this. If we take this and we make a circle out of it, you see from here to here, the 21.78, when you fold it, that becomes the circumference of the circle here. And the circumference of a circle is what? 2 pi r. So if the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, we know the circumference because if you take this distance and fold it, even though you fold it, it will still have the same length. It will still be 21.78. Using this now, we can find the radius because circumference is 2 pi r. There's a multiply here. Throw across the multiply, and we will get a divide. So you get 21.78 divided by 2 pi, and that gives you your radius. So we can find, and by the way, I made a mistake here, so it'll be volume once again. To find the radius now, right, we take 21.78 divided by 2, and then we divide it by pi. And we get how much? 3 point, well, that would be 47. So we know the radius now. The radius is 3.47. But we still need the height. Because to find the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared. We have the radius. We just found the radius. The radius is how much again? 3.47. We just need the height now. Now we can find the height using Pythagoras theorem. Let's just extract the piece we need. Remember, we just found the radius from here to here to be 3.47. We know the slanted piece here is 10.4. So using Pythagoras theorem, we can find the vertical height of the cone. So it will be the hypotenuse. So to find one of the regular boring legs, right? To find the leg, which is the height, I'm just going to use h for the height. We take the hypotenuse, you square it, take a regular boring leg, square it, minus it, and square root your answer. So this is how you find the height. This h stands for the height, not the hypotenuse. So if you're, like I said, if you're not familiar with Pythagoras theorem and how to find a missing side or how to find the hypotenuse, you really need to perfect that first. Because it's going to come back to haunt you in more than one places in the exam. So it's 10.4 squared minus 3.47 squared. Press equal, and then we square root our answer. You notice I always square root last. So my height is 9.80. So my height is 9.8, well 9.8 and 9.80. So now we know the height. Let's work out the volume of the cone. Right? So you see questions like this? They come in like, I've seen this come in paper 3, right? It can also come in paper 2, but at the last place I remembered seeing it was a paper 3. Right? Let me work out this. 1 divided by 3, that is 1/3. Or if you want to use the fractions button, 1 ABC3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 3.47 squared, because it's radius squared, multiplied by 9.8 gives me a volume of how much? 123.57. Right? I'm just double checking my answer to make sure. 1 divided by 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 3.47 squared multiplied by 9.8. Yeah, it's correct, right? And the answer will be in what? Centimeters cubed, right? Just, I know some of you are probably really confused about how I know the circumference is 21.78. Once again, when you take a sector and you fold it to make a cone, the curved part becomes a full circle. And of course, the full circle will have the same length as what? Will have the same length as the curved part here. Okay? So you might want to, if you're not sure, rewind the video and watch it back again, especially those who are writing the paper through. All right, so the next part here is a map question. Here we have a map and they give us a scale. The scale is 1 to 4,000, 40,000. That means anything on the map in real life, it will be 40,000 times larger. That is all it means. Now, we need to clear up a few things because I'm pretty sure some of you all may be confused how you convert centimeters to meters or whatnot. So let's work on that first. First of all, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. And 1 meter has 100 centimeters in it. So that means 1 kilometer is equal, if you take 1,000 and multiply by 100, is equal to this. Right? So what number is that? 100,000. So 1 kilometer is really 100,000 centimeters. Okay? So now we have a scale, a metric to work with. I think that's the word. Okay? So now we could convert kilometers to centimeters. So on the map, we have a distance AB on the map. We want to know in real life what would be the actual distance in kilometers. So here's what you need to do in the exam. You need to take your ruler and physically measure the distance AB. Now I'm going to ask, I don't have a ruler on me, but let's just pretend that when we measured it, we got 8.5 centimeters. Now, obviously in real life, if you go in the real world, the distance will not be 8.5 centimeters. It will be larger. So, using the scale, anything measured on a map will be 40,000 times larger. So, let's do this. Let's take 8.5 and multiply by 40,000. So, 8.5 multiplied by 40,000 gives us 340,123. But this answer is in centimeters because anything, we measured it in centimeters. So in real life, it will be 40,000 times larger than our measurement, which was in centimeters. But the examiner doesn't want the measurement in centimeters. He wants it in kilometers. So 1 kilometer is equal to 100,000. So to convert this to kilometers, you just simply divide it by 100,000. So divided by 100,000 here, this and this will cancel out. 340 divided by 100 is 3.4 kilometers. And that's it. Okay? Now, in this part of the question, we were measuring length. The next part of the question is going to ask you an area. Now, this is the one that confuses students. First of all, right, they want us to find the area of C. So, C on the map has an area of 4.5 centimeters squared. Remember, area is measured in centimeters squared. So, here's what, right? Let's look at the scale here, right? Remember, we said 1 kilometer is equal to 100,000 centimeters. Also, the scale on the map is 1 to 40,000, which means any length, keyword length, measured is 40,000 times larger. Length and area are two different types of measurements. Okay? So let's just say, let's investigate what 1 centimeter squared means. 1 centimeter squared means we have a square, first of all, and each side of the square is 1 centimeter. So the area is 1 by 1, which is 1 centimeter squared. But on this particular map, right, everything is 40,000 times larger. So when I measure this length as 1 centimeter and this length as 1 centimeter, in real life, here will be 40,000 centimeters, because 1 by 40,000 is 40,000. And over here will also be 40,000 centimeters. Well, now we're dealing with lengths, eh? So how do we convert centimeters to kilometers? We just have to divide it by 100,000, because it have 100,000 centimeters in 1 kilometer. So let me scroll down some more. So I'm going to divide him by 100,000, and I'm going to divide him by 100,000, because I want to convert these centimeters to kilometers. So let's go over here now. 40,000 divided by 100,000. 40,000 divided by 100,000 is 0.4. So this is 0.4 kilometers, and of course here is 0.4 kilometers. So when we measure 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter is really 0.4 kilometers by 0.4. So what's the area of this square? Any area of a square, side multiplied by side. So take 0.4 kilometers and multiply by next 0.4. You will get 0.16. If you don't believe me, 0.4 multiplied by 0.4 is 0.16 kilometers squared. So you know what this really means? 1 centimeter squared is equal to 0. What's going on with my 1 second, guys. Right. So 1 centimeter squared is equal to 0.16 kilometers squared on the map. Remember, in this question, we have 4.5. So if I have 4.5 centimeters squared, every 1 centimeter squared represents 0.16 kilometers squared. So if I have 4.5, I just need to take the 0.16 and multiply it by 4.5. And that will be my answer in kilometers squared. Multiply by 4.5. And the answer is what? 0.72 kilometers squared. And let's double check on that. 0.16 multiplied by 4.5. And it's 0.72 kilometers squared. All right. So unfortunately, I don't have any videos on like conversions, like centimeter squared, like to meter squared, to kilometer squared, like the map type of questions that that are very popular in CXC, right? Hopefully later on I will make a video dedicated to calculations involving a map with length and area and whatnot. Okay. And that's the end of question 5. That's the end of part 5. Now that was really long, right? So guys, I really hope that you found this video helpful, and of course don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe. Of course, if you know anybody else who needs these videos, don't hold back. Share the video. It'll make me feel good, right? It makes me feel really, really good when I see the numbers go up, when I see the views go up, when I see the subscribers go up. All right? And once again, if anybody wants to help me share my flyer, you can just contact me. My number is in the description. I will send you my latest flyer. And I really appreciate it if you could share it on, social media. It will really help my business grow. Take care, guys, and well, stay tuned for part 6.